button. Now it says we're live, so we'll go with it. All right, welcome from the Crossroads of America, talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. Answer questions from the audience in the chat or by email at rickslifeasIseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. I got a Patreon page, PayPal, and all that other info down there in the information section if you wish to have a look. So there you go. Let's see. As people are trickling into the chat, let me see who we got here. First in was Mystic Guns, then Jason Stewart, then Clover Tech. Then who else we got? Who else coming? Gun Snob's here. Sabrina's here. Raphael's here. Night Strike's here. So everybody's starting to come. So while they're doing that, let me introduce my panel. Up here in the top corner, I got Clover Tech. How you doing?
Hey, Rick. Good to be here, man.
Good to see you. Then I got Night Strike.
Oh, I'm here. Hey, how's it going?
Good man. Then we got Guns and Barbecue.
Howdy, Rick. Thanks for the invite.
No problem. Then New York Outcast, are you here? No, nope, disconnected again, so he's having trouble with his cell phone. All right. So as people are trickling in, I was I was just telling the panel before we started, living the American dream my way. So it don't always work, but hell, I'm free. That's all that counts, right? So anyway, my topic. In 2 hours, he's meant to make the official announcement that it's Barrett, Amy something Barrett,
Amy Coney Barrett or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's what everybody's saying it is. That's what was leaked. I think it's a good pick. You know, I know they're gonna. I'm hoping the Senate, when they start questioning somebody who's ever in charge, I think it would be, if it's the panel, who's ever in charge of the panel should tell Feinstein or any of them Democrats, in case they've forgotten what the Constitution says, her religion has nothing to do with the position. It can't be held against her.
Quite honestly, with her religion, if they put her religion in question, basically you can throw it right back at the Democrats. Well, then why did you nominate Kennedy? He's Catholic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
And he was a Democrat too. So
they're just looking for anything to complain about her.
Oh yeah, there ain't going to be much. I mean, because there's not a lot they can get her on.
Well, it's going to be harder to put a false rape charge on her. That's for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's not going to be 30 men coming out of the woodwork being like, she sexually assaulted me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I like that meme I saw earlier in the week. That quite surprised that Democrats haven't gone to some federal judge to get a stay on this, saying Ginsburg's not dead, so he can't get a new judge yet. You know?
I'm pretty sure when you lay the person in a casket and then you put a flag over it and parade it around the Capitol, or at least the Supreme Court halls, I'm pretty sure that means you're dead.
Yeah. But, New York Outcast says he's having phone issues as usual. Again, get a new phone, New York Outcast. Southpaw's here. Good to see you. Yeah,
New York Outcast is asking, was she ever a teacher? I don't know. I'm not that I'm aware.
Yeah, you're right, Jason. A person's religion can't be used against them, but that's what the Democrats are going to do. They've showed it a few times this week on TV, and I think you can find a YouTube on it where Feinstein tried to use it in her appointment to the position she's in now. They're all scared that she's going to be. They were scared Kavanaugh was going to be the one that was going to destroy Wade and Roe, or Roe and Wade, whatever you call it. Now it's her that's going to do it.
You know what I hope, Rick?
Well,
I hope they get her in. I hope Trump gets reelected and gets 4 more people in just to screw with them.
Oh yeah, I would love it too, but I don't. I mean, I personally believe Trump is going to win.
I think,
but I can see that mail voting screwing it all up and him losing. I really can. So as I was telling I was telling the guys in the morning chat that we have on Discord. What you call it? A friend of mine actually, and it even happened to a Liberty Doll too. Same thing. So it's happened to more than one person. A friend of mine, she got 3 mail-in ballots. One in her married name, one in her maiden name, and one with her maiden and married name with a hyphen. And Liberty Doll said that happened to her too.
Wow, they're just handing out the ballots, aren't they?
Yeah. So
I don't have any mail-in ballots, and I don't know anybody like here. Not people elsewhere may say something, but I don't know anybody personally here close to me that I personally talk to, that has gotten any mail-in ballots here. So maybe they're not doing them here. I don't know.
I haven't gotten any here either.
I haven't got any either.
So
I have, and I think here in PA you actually have to fill out some information to have them send you a mail-in ballot.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have the absentee ballot, which
the actual mail-in ballot if you want to vote by mail, not absentee or anything, but they're not just sending them out and saying here you go. From what I understand, polling places are still going to be open in November.
Yes, yeah. I mean, if you request the ballot, then they have information about you to check to make sure you're on the roster and all that kind of stuff. But just to mail them to whatever mailing list they bought off the internet, is I think totally wrong. So we're getting off track. But anyway, as I was saying, I think she would be a good pick. People said she should have been the one instead of Kavanaugh last time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
So she's in there now, which should help us because you can't count on Roberts.
Can't count on Kavanaugh either.
No, true.
No, but Gorsuch has actually done all right lately.
Gorsuch is solid. Yeah. We kind of
He
knew
was a
that.
solid pick.
If you did your homework on Gorsuch back when he was nominated or whatever, Gorsuch's pretty solid. Not really any skeletons in the closet. He's not a big, huge precedent guy. So, solid pick there. Kavanaugh is the squarely went in. And I believe Roberts, I've said this a bunch of times, I believe Roberts is squarely because of the makeup of the court. I believe that if we get, and I think that even if we get Barrett in there, and I say we like I got mice in my pocket. I'm not affiliated with these yahoos, but assuming that they get, Barrett on the court, I don't know that pulls Roberts out of his mode, because in a lot of the decisions he'll still be like a tiebreaker, and he doesn't like to do that is the problem. And so he likes to have a strong majority on the decisions that he's a part of. So, but as I've said, Breyer's getting up there in age too. So assuming there's a Trump reelection, it's possible that Trump gets another pick in his second term.
Yes.
Now, will he pick another Kavanaugh, or will he pick another Gorsuch? That remains to be seen.
Hopefully a Gorsuch.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, he put another woman on there off of his list of 5 he says he had. I mean,
I'm all for it. That was a stroke of genius when Obama did that, because women women live longer. I mean, just, so yeah, I mean, that would be one of my plays. Women also, for their decisions, take a lot less heat. There's a lot less political heat. And I think as far as the confirmations and getting a woman through, the confirmation process without a dog and pony show, I think it's easier. So, yeah, I don't got a problem at all with that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would have been okay with the one. Is it from Florida? The second, I can't remember her name, but she would have been okay too, I think. But anyway, hopefully it's Barrett that he actually says at 5 o'clock, which I think it will be.
Yeah. Now, do you actually think anything's going to move forward on it, though? It's a question. He can nominate whoever he wants.
Yeah, I think it will. I can't, unless there's some parliamentary.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
There's not.
Him nominating is fine, but then the Senate has to convene. The Senate has to do their hearings. The Senate has to confirm. Do you think any of that is legitimately gonna happen before the elections?
Yes, I do.
You think they'll fast track it, huh?
Yep, I really do. I think they will, because when it comes to nominating judges, it's the simple majority, and they have that.
Not supposed to be, but that's the nuclear option that was invoked, and I believe it was under Obama when that was invoked.
Yeah.
And so that opened the door for, that's the problem with people skirting the Constitution and the foundation and the way things are supposed to happen, is that as long as it's your side, it's okay. But then you don't realize later on that, oh crap, the opposite side can do, we've set that precedent, right, of skirting the rules, and now the opposite side can do that. And that's what sucks. But, I don't agree with that option at all. I really don't. That's not the way that it's supposed to be. It's not the way it was. The founders set everything up. This ain't the way it's supposed to be.
No, but I've never liked filibuster either. But it's there anyways.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree. I mean, it shouldn't be. It should be done the correct way. But I don't know if it's ever going to be.
I mean, we're electing politicians, literally, legal crooks to go and run our country. And, we expect them not to come up with new divisive ways to get one over the other.
Yeah, and to keep power.
And we're also expecting them to play fair in politics, when we know outright politics is an unfair business.
Yeah, yeah. What I don't understand, right, is like I read something the other day, is the Democrats are saying Trump's stacking the court with conservative values or whatever. But
all I hear is they need more cheese with their wine.
Yeah, but
that's not true.
but the Democrats' values aren't that great either. If you look at it that way,
they don't have values.
If you take the hardened political ideologue, right, regardless of which side they're on, right?
Yeah.
Anything that the other side does, or anybody, let's say in this situation, that the other side appoints, they're going to automatically say, because the other side appointed them, right, that they're conservative or they're liberal or they're opposite of whatever they want, right?
Yeah.
When the truth of the matter is this, when you're talking about a justice, it's pretty much sitting on any bench, you have precedent justices and you have constitutional justices. It's not, judges are not really a liberal conservative thing. And
no.
people like to do that, and it's a fear tactic that they put into the minds of the public. But when those judges are on the bench, they have certain constraints when it comes to political ideology. And so really their political leanings can play a role if they're what did I say? If they rule on precedents, if they're a precedents justice, right? That's what they value. Their political leanings at that point can play a bit of a role. However, because they can use previous court cases to do the mental gymnastics and make it work out. On the flip side, you've got the people that strictly adhere to the Constitution, the Clarence Thomases, the Gorsuch, folks like that. And so, but you've also had over the years, we don't get Supreme Court justices that often. We've had Democrat nominated, Democrat confirmed justices before that were voting Democrats. You could put them in the D column. That were constitutional justices down the line.
That's what they're meant to be. That's what they're meant to be. Aren't they? All of them are meant to be follow the Constitution.
You're supposed to be, yeah, but somewhere along the way,
since Ginsburg, they've been teetering and pandering.
Well, somewhere along the way, like when it first started, right? This country was first founded. The judicial branch was put into play. There wasn't any precedence. You know what I mean? There was nothing to go back on. The justices had to trailblaze. They had to apply the Constitution, which is what they're supposed to do, and make those decisions. But somewhere over time, we got some justices that were lazy, to be quite honest. And instead of trailblazing, applying the Constitution and setting the precedents, right? They fell back and they said, well, because 20 years ago, the court said this, that's what we're going to do today. And that annoys me because I hear that in all levels of government, in all levels of business, in all levels of anything. The one phrase that ticks me off the most is, well, that's the way we've always done it. Well, that don't make it right. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. That is, unfortunately, that's what's happening a lot.
And like I said, that's a big mentality and culture, period, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how many things, if you sit down and you really analyze your life, how many things do you do that are stupid, inefficient, whatever, just because that's always the way you've done them? And that's what you tell yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right on that. But anyway, so do you think they're going to you don't think they're going to fast track getting her into the court?
I don't think they've got time. I just don't think they've got time. Now, I'm not saying that they won't before the end of the year, but before the elections, I don't know that they got time to do it.
Well, where they're not meant to be using political things, but is November 10th, they start hearing oral arguments on the Affordable Cares Act and have a judge, theoretically, who will vote to get rid of it. That's what they're looking for. I think they're going to fast track her.
Well, that's a whole different conversation on that. That with it before, in the cases with that before, the problem was with which I don't got a problem with the majority of the Affordable Care Act. The mandate is the issue that I think everybody has. I don't have a problem for the what do they call them? The marketplace options. Somebody tell me what they call it.
I don't have a problem with that either.
Yeah, it's the mandate that's the issue.
Yeah, the mandate is the issue.
Yeah.
I mean, when Obamacare started, I was one of the few thousand that got screwed. Mm-hmm. I lost my doctor and I lost my plan, and it cost me more money.
Right.
So I wasn't happy with it at all.
But then again, I mean, I'm in this boat, and tons and tons of other people I know that, again, it didn't affect at all. Hasn't affected me, not one single bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's one of them things to where, we've got to figure out what happened. Why did it screw you? What's going on with it that screwed you over, right? And we need to fix that.
Yeah. Yeah, see, but I mean, Kingpin's got a good point. The problem with the marketplace option is there's places that only give you one choice. Their choices are so low now because a lot of these companies are pulling out.
Right. Well, and then you got an issue where it doesn't want to pay. and that's an issue now. Bernie Sanders talks about Medicare for all. And the problem with that is there's Medicare supplemental because Medicare doesn't cover everything. You gotta, even if you're on Medicare, you gotta have extra insurance in order to cover everything. So even the Medicare for all option doesn't, obviously it doesn't work, but part of the reason too, we can't point fingers at politicians on this. Partly we have to point fingers at ourselves, right? Are we doing everything we can do to try to stay healthy, to lessen the burden on the medical system and everything else, unless it's absolutely necessary? And then number two, we got to point fingers at big pharma. We got to point fingers at the medical system in general, because $500 for a Tylenol in the emergency room is ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree with you. But back to what you're saying is I'm on Medicare because of my disability, and I have to get a supplemental insurance to help pay for everything.
Now, how's that right?
It's not. I already pay the government $144 for Medicare. I pay for that $144 a month. It doesn't cover everything.
Yep.
Yeah. But luckily here in Indiana, I don't know if Indiana supplements it or not, but luckily my premium's only $18 a month for my supplementary, what I have, so I can afford it. Like when I was living in Rhode Island, the same plan was costing me $40-something. It's
wait,
strange.
what is it now?
I have United Healthcare. There's a name for it. What is it? It's United Healthcare. I got it here somewhere. Where is it?
There's only a few of them nowadays. I think I know the one you're talking about.
Advantage, I think it is.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called. Hell, if I can find it. When you want something, you can't find it. Where in the hell is it? Oh, yeah. Medicare Advantage by United Healthcare is what it's called. And I said, that cost me $40 in Rhode Island. But in Indiana, it only cost me $18. That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure if the Indiana, is supplementing any.
But what question with this too? Because a lot of people doesn't look at this into perspective either. What's the cost? What was your cost of living there versus your cost of living in Indiana?
Oh, my cost of living here in Indiana is low.
It's considerably cheaper anyway, right?
Yeah. It's a poorer state,
right?
In general.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and that makes the difference when you start comparing things to say that, well, this is cheaper here, and over there or whatever, and it shouldn't be. Well, what's the cost of living here versus there? So,
yeah. Luckily, also, I think I'm not sure if, as I said, this cost of living here, and it's a poorer state per se. If I applied for disability here, would I got less than what I got now? Because I got the same what I got in Rhode Island. I get to here, and that's what makes me able to live here, because I get more for my buck.
Right. Well, that's a different system, though. Right?
Yeah.
They're funneling you money with that. That's not service or goods based. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I like the supplemental I get free medicine. If I do the 90-day plan by mail. All my medication is free.
Right.
If I go to Walmart's, it's $2 a prescription.
I do all mine by mail now. It's cheaper.
Yeah. Also, I just went to the eye doctors, and under this Advantage plan, I get free eye tests, and I get $250 every 2 years. It used to be every year, but it got changed every 2 years to go towards buying glasses or contact lenses. So I spent the $250 this year on contact lenses.
Right.
I'm just waiting for the phone call to go pick them up. So then I get dental, and I get to spend $1,000 dental wise. They give me towards cover if I want to get any, like if I need a new set of dentures or whatever, they're giving me $1,000 towards it.
Well, that's pretty neat.
Oh,
My insurance, I got health insurance, but there's nothing with vision or dental, nothing.
Yeah.
So that's all out of pocket for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I'm lucky that way. So I've got good insurance. You know,
Well, I've got great medical. My medical is fabulous, but like I said, vision and dental is not. That's a totally separate policy, and that's where they rape you. Honestly, it's when you get those. So I opted not to do that. And I don't have vision issues really, and I don't have dental issues really. So one of the things where, well, I'll take a chance with that. But if I'm ever in a car accident or accident here on the property, or anything can happen, get sick or whatever, you definitely won't want to rack up, like I said, with $800 Tylenol. You don't want to rack up those kind of medical bills nowadays.
No, you don't. You're right. Okay. Anyway, let's
yeah, we got off topic, didn't we?
Way off topic, but
down the rabbit hole.
That's all right. We're trying to get it back on. We're talking about the judges. We got what was next. I mean, next on my list there was the debate coming up Tuesday.
Now that's all online, I guess. I haven't been paying attention to it.
No, it's in person.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless they change it.
Yeah.
But I still don't trust the Biden camp to go through with it.
Something will happen, right?
Yeah.
You almost figure something's like, oh, he's not feeling well, or they'll blame it on COVID or something.
Yeah, and then they want to take it online where they can have somebody there typing the answers for him.
Like, like the day before, it'll be like, oh, new numbers come out for this city or whatever. Or some crap.
Because we know Biden can't come up with an original thought. It has to be on a teleprompter for him to, repeat it.
I'm worried, legitimately worried about the dude, man.
What, Biden?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even if Biden wins, right, is he going to make it to be...
To even it be inaugurated?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I
legitimately think the play, I mean, the DNC knows, I mean, everybody can see it, and I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm saying it because he's an old dude and he's having issues. And, the DNC see that. And I think their plan is before he ever gets inaugurated, basically he steps down.
Yeah. Then Harris becomes the president.
Right.
And then you get your first woman president.
And guess who becomes vice president at that time?
Who?
Pelosi.
Yeah, well. Damn, she's older than Biden, and
right.
And all her. I mean, I've got a theory about her too. She's either got Parkinson's, the way she jerks around, or my bet through experience, she's a damn drunk.
She is it's been, and this isn't hearsay or, making up crap. She's a drinker. I mean, that's documented.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm thinking. She's gone from being,
I can't say
she's an alcoholic is what she is.
Yeah. I can't say she's an alcoholic and stone cold drunk and all of this, but it's well documented that she loves her drinks.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be, I mean, they said 2016 was the election of all elections. I mean, now 2020 definitely is,
Yeah.
2020 just been one of those years, man.
Oh, God, it has been. And it ain't over yet.
I have to make the joke. I'm still rooting for Kanye.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I said the year ain't over yet, so. I mean, this COVID thing, I don't know. I mean, I don't live in a big metropolitan city.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, out here in rural Indiana, life's going on. Everybody's doing what they got. They're wearing their masks like they're meant to, but
they took off. I went to I had to go to Walmart this morning and pick up a few things, and of course I don't wear a mask anyway most of the time. And I noticed today, and it hadn't been in a while, but I noticed today that they don't have they had all the entrances blocked off but one, and they had like gates you had to walk through to get in and out. And they had the stickers on the floor, which way you could walk and all this crap, right? All of that's gone. All the entrances and exits are opened up. There's no signs on the door that says you have to wear a mask. There's no things on the floor. There's nothing. It's like everything's back to normal.
No, that's in Texas there.
Yeah, that's in Texas here.
Now,
yeah.
here in Indiana, you're right. They had the entrance and exit. You had to walk a mile down the sidewalk
Right.
to come in. All that's gone. You walk straight to the door. It opens up and you walk on in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Now.
Yeah.
So that's gone, but you still have to wear a mask here. You know.
Same here.
I don't like it. I normally I take it. Normally when nobody said anything to me yet. The last 2 times I've been in there, I unclip it from one ear and let it hang down from the other ear.
Yeah. Well, what I found around here, just to curb, an argument or a scene or anything else, what I've seen a lot of people do is that they'll wear it through the doors. But like once they get past the person at the door at the entry, that's, counting people going in and out or whatever. Once they get past that, they take it off anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sabrina says in the Netherlands, it looks like it's going back down to lockdown. Because,
Wow.
Because there are a lot of people that don't follow.
I mean, this lockdown thing is crap. I'm sorry. We've had this discussion so many times when we get on this subject. Just let's go with it. I know we're over 200,000 people have died, and it is sad. Maybe it would hurt me more if it was somebody related to me or that I personally knew that died from it, but I haven't known anybody that I know of.
Well, we got to be real about those numbers, is that those are deaths of people that died who had it, not who died from it.
Right.
There's a difference.
But I actually got it, and it sucked. I mean, there's no nice way of putting it. It sucked.
It depends on who you are, dude. My brother had it, and he was probably had it about like you, Night Strike, because he was like on death's door. But his wife never did get it, and his 2 kids, it was like nothing for them.
Yeah, everyone in my household got it. So,
yeah, but did anybody die?
No, my dad did need to go to the hospital, and he did need to go and stay at the hospital for about a week and a half.
Did they put him on a ventilator?
No, they did give him oxygen though.
Yeah. Now, a good example, I believe, Never Enough Ammo had it, and he felt like shit for a day and a half. He said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it affects us differently, but it's not. I will agree that it's gotten blown out of proportion. The whole pandemic, it's gotten blown out of proportion. They've made a mountain out of a molehill, obviously. Yeah. But the issue is, the virus itself is something to be concerned about.
Yeah, and it's bad in certain situations. My wife works for the prison system, so picture. That's the worst possible scenario, for stuff like that, because you've got people in close confined areas living on top of each other, right, in the prisons.
Right.
Then you've got guards that they're off duty and they go God knows where and pick up God knows what, and then they come back and they go to work and they walk into these places where, again, people are living on top of each other, right, bringing stuff constantly in and out. So it's horrible in the prison system. So it doesn't surprise me a bit that places like New York City, really densely populated areas, New York City, LA, New Orleans, some of those places, that's really bad. It makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch, get that out. Sorry, my cat's got You know the what you call it, the cable, the hard cable for my internet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The cat it's hanging out of the cat's mouth. He's about ready to fight it. Son of a bitch. That's right. I got it. Luckily, I don't see any damage to it. And I still got it.
You ain't paying him enough attention, Rick. He's like, I'll end this live stream.
Yeah, that's what he was doing. He had it in his mouth before he was ready to fight on it.
You see this live stream? Now you see it. Now you don't.
Anyway, sorry about that. Anyway. Yes, the COVID. I mean, the COVID's here to stay. No matter what, they can get the vaccine for it and everything else. It's here to stay, just like the flu is.
Yeah, it's yes, you need to be concerned about it. Yes, you need to do precautions to prevent from getting it. If you can. But again, you shouldn't act like it's the end of the damn world, because it's not.
Right.
Yeah,
but there is one caveat to this. If you have elderly family that lives with you, you need to take extra precautions for them, because if they get it, they could die.
Well, but people that have relatives that have close family or live with them or whatever that are frail, right? They could get just a common cold could cause pneumonia and things, right?
Exactly.
Like my grandfather, but 90 years old or something like that, living with my mom and dad. I've had a cold for like the last 2 weeks. I haven't been up there because, even if he just got this cold that I've got, it could be bad, really, really bad for him. So, in that sense, yes, I mean, you got to be a little more careful, I guess, but you should be being careful anyway, is my point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what about see, another thing is I don't wear the mask unless I absolutely have to. Mm-hmm. And I said, when I get inside of Walmart, I take it off anyway. But I mean, like when I go down to the diner, I don't wear it from my truck to the door. I just walk across the parking lot without it. So mm-hmm. I don't know. I just think they should open the country back up and go with it and see what happens. Come up with your vaccine, give it. I don't think they should make that mandatory either, but
Negative.
Negative what?
Oh, making it mandatory.
No. But then again, they've got the option where they can, because don't your kids have to be vaccinated to start school nowadays, or has that changed?
Public school, yeah.
Yeah, public schools.
Yeah. So why, to be able to work, you got to be vaccinated or something. Take me for instance.
It's gonna be that's gonna be a hard sell with adults. With kids and stuff, I kind of get it. And with it being the public school system, I kind of get it. With adult, now, if you're talking about adults that work for a government agency or something, maybe. But how they can enforce that in the private sector,
I agree. I mean, I
don't see how they do it.
You said federal employees.
Yeah, I don't see how they do it.
And hey, somebody like me on Social Security disability,
maybe.
You know what I'm saying? They can get you that way, I think. But hell.
But that's going to require at that level. That's going to require legislation, I think. I don't think it's going to be able to be mandated through some type of gubernatorial or presidential executive order. And I don't know that you can get a mandatory vaccination thing. I don't know that you could get that kind of legislation through. There's even Democrats that won't go for that, because there's a lot of liberal-minded people that do not believe in vaccinations at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I believe in them to a certain degree. I mean, for the people who don't, diseases are popping up in this country that were eradicated 50 years ago.
I don't have a problem. Yeah, it's a great point. I don't have a problem with vaccinations that have been proven for decades and decades and decades, right?
Yeah.
Like, whatever, polio, distemper, measles, mumps, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Rubella, that type of stuff. We've had those vaccinations for years. There's tons of science behind them. There's, the track records are there. We know pretty much every potential side effect, but to have something to go, oh, here's a vaccine. It was just created yesterday, and then start pumping it into people. No, I don't see ethically. I don't see how. That's why I'm saying if it requires legislation to do that, which I believe it does, I don't believe they're going to be able to get it through because there's so much ethics involved when it comes to that.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Now after it is optional for a decade or two, then maybe.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Once it's got a track record, then
right.
I might be more inclined to take it.
Right.
That's even like the flu shot. It's been around a while now.
I don't take it because even the flu shot, the flu shot for me, the bad thing, vaccines, people don't realize a lot of these vaccines, they're created from the dead virus or whatever. And I'm convinced that I've gotten some flu shots in the past that all that stuff wasn't dead. and it gave me the flu.
I've heard that. But also about the flu, that virus, as you said, is dead. They're basing it on that strain is going to come back again.
Right.
So
and
if every strain comes, you can have all the shots you want. It ain't going to cover you.
And all it has to change is just a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is they make the flu shot off of last year's strain, but then it mutates the following year, so it's really minimal in its effect.
The best thing for the flu is to just keep your immune system healthy. Again, it goes back to what we talked about when we got really, really off topic before, with healthcare in general. Try to take care of yourself as much as you can, right? And if you're as healthy as you can possibly be, then your body's going to naturally ward off most things.
Yeah. You're right.
You've got mail.
Here, my other cat's coming here now. I wonder what's going on, what they're going to get me on.
I just against you. The plot against you.
Oh yeah. All right. What else was going to say? In here, moving on, totally different subject. I guess see if I can find it now. Oh yeah, unknown user went to a gun show today. $20 for a box of 22 LR. 22 LR was just got back from a gun show. $20 box of 22 LR was selling for $60. A $10 box of 9mm full metal jacket was selling for $30 and $49. And Anderson lowers were $150. Damn.
So everything's basically tripled.
Yeah. So is it worth? I mean, it ain't worth going to a show. They're going to charge those kind of prices. But if you want, it's supply and demand. If you want it, you pay the price for it. If you don't want it, you don't buy it. I guess that's basically what they're saying. So, I got plenty of ammo. I load my own. What I shoot, I've got enough to keep me going. I'm not I don't, when I go to the range by myself and stuff, I don't go down there and fire, 600-700 rounds. I might fire 100, 150 at the most. Because I can go whenever I want. I'm not limited to sort of like I can only go one day a week or one day a month type thing. So I can go where I'm at. I can go down there as many times as I want in a day. I don't have to stay there all day. So, unknown user says, no, they predict which strains will be the big one next year. And they actually artificially mutate the virus to stay ahead of the natural mutation. Yeah, but they could get it wrong. You still can catch it.
I've never once heard that.
No, I haven't either. But hey, I wouldn't say it's not wrong, But I haven't heard it. But
even still, if you artificially mutate the virus, how do you know you're artificially mutating it to what the virus has mutated to this year?
Oh, you don't.
Well, there's a lot of there's a lot of technology involved in that with computer modeling and stuff like that. It's like the people that go back and the evolution from single celled organisms and so how all that works. I mean, we know how things mutate in the past, and certain environmental factors and other things caused them to mutate a certain way. And once you take all that data, it's hard for the human brain to conceive that. But once you have all those variables put into a computer model, sometimes, and I agree with you, it's nowhere near 100%, but it can be done.
Oh, it's like when they're trying to do that with the weather. They're like, this is going to be a terrible hurricane season, and we have one of the best ones we ever have. And then there's other times where they're like, oh, this is going to be a great hurricane season because of this factor and that factor, and all these things. And then we have some hellacious storms.
Right.
To say it's all dependent on what a human is punching into that computer, and then the computer's just kicking out data that was just an algorithm that somebody came up with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I agree that there's a lot of science that goes into it. I'm just not real convinced that it's accurate.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not 100%. It's not to say that it never works, but it's not 100% for certain. Nowhere close.
Yeah. Or you could let the computer collect its own data and come up with it. And the IA, let them, artificial intelligence, AI, control what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's a scary thought too. Having a computer work it all out. Oh, they consider a 40% success rate as a win.
Yeah, makes it. Yeah, I would agree with that assessment.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So it's totally change subject, going totally 180 degrees.
Might as well.
Yeah. What did you think about the results of the case there in Louisville? I mean, what I heard and read, they had no I don't know. Could they have got him for manslaughter? By the sounds of it, no. What's his name shot at him in self-defense, and they shot back in self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I haven't kept up with that one much, so I can't weigh in too much on it.
Yeah. Have you kept up with it, Night Strike? The Breonna, that's how you pronounce her name?
Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, they're making her sound like a goody-goody, too. And
from what I read, well, she may have been the goody-goody, but the person she was dating was an absolute scumbag, from what I hear.
Yeah. There's a certain amount, there's a certain amount of accountability.
There's sure, and the problem is, a certain group of people are sugarcoating it and rioting and causing all hoo-ha just because the fact that that Breonna was killed due to something her boyfriend did, invited in, and well, and you can argue, say, well, he didn't really invite it; they came to the door. They were there to arrest him, regardless.
Well, they've got body cam footage and all that now that showed that they did knock multiple times, correct?
Yeah.
And then he resisted. The problem I've still got, I mean, there's some, there's some victim blaming, I guess, to go around a little bit, with, she was dating a drug dealer, knew he was a drug dealer, whatever. I mean, you sleep in the bed you made, no pun intended, I guess, right?
But the drug dealer was already in jail. The person she was dating now that shot at police was not the drug dealer. From what I understand, the drug dealer had called her up, said, hey, I'm in jail. Can you go to my place, get my bail money? So she, went, bailed out her ex-boyfriend at this point, goes, bails him out. So then the police said, oh, hey, she's handling his money, making it sound like, she is the middleman for him, taking care of all of his cash and everything else. And that's how they got the search warrant. And that's the thing. It wasn't an arrest warrant. They were going there to search for supposed drugs. And then if you listen from what I understand, they had supposedly talked, or they claimed to have talked to the postmaster or whoever the heck at the post office, and they were told that packages were going to the house and blah blah blah, and they said, "Oh, it's packages of drugs," and then the postmaster's like, "Yeah, no, that conversation never happened." So they stretch the truth, if you want to, give them the benefit of the doubt on how they got the search warrant. They lied about, some of the stuff that they said, they were going to use as evidence, and then, fine, you can say they knocked, but why are they serving a search warrant at 1 a.m? And from what I understand, if there's body camera footage, were they in uniform? Because I heard they weren't in uniform.
Yeah, see that I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, is if it's a search warrant, and why weren't they in uniform? That makes zero sense to me. Especially if you're going there at 1 a.m. And fine, which I don't know, why would they knock if they are not in uniform or anything else? But if there's actual video footage of them knocking, that's fine and dandy. But if somebody is knocking on my door at 1 a.m, I'm answering the door with a gun in my hand.
Yeah.
But from what I read too, was unfortunately the boyfriend that was there that night and the ex-boyfriend has the same last name, even though they're not related, which didn't help matters either.
That's weird.
But
Even still, that
they say there was evidence that they knocked and they announced who they were, but when he shot the policeman in the leg, because all he heard was his door coming down, they claimed they didn't hear it. And also, she wasn't in bed; she was in the hallway.
All right, so here,
bedroom.
Let me paint the scenario for you. You're asleep in bed. They say police, and then start pounding your door down. Are you gonna wake up when they yell police, or are you gonna be just waking up when somebody's kicking in your door?
Oh, I'm not.
At which point, I would be again going and getting to a safe place, or if I feel that I need to go meet this threat head on. And if they weren't in uniform, let's say there's a reason this guy isn't in jail, and that's because they screwed up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying they were right, but it's strange. As I said, he shot that policeman in the leg. They arrested him, but they let him go because they knew that they did nothing wrong. He did. So so for them to do that, they must have known they were wrong in the way they did it. Is the way I look at it. So,
well, is there any repercussions coming down? I mean, I know that they're not going to bring charges or whatever, right? But I mean, is there administrative issues? Is there anything else?
Investigations are still ongoing.
Yeah,
what they're saying.
Yeah,
but right now,
no doubt there'll be civil litigation over it, without a doubt. Right?
Well, her family got $12 million already.
Oh, already? Okay.
Yeah. They got $12 million on a civil thing. They settled out of court.
Yeah.
The city paid her family $12 million. So
Well, that says a lot.
That does say a lot.
Yep.
So, but they're still right. And I was thinking about. As I was saying this, it was on the Wednesday show. I was saying this. I now carry 2 extra magazines in my pocket. I know I'm out here. I keep saying I'm out here in rural Indiana, but Louisville is less than an hour away from me.
Yeah, it's not that far from where you're at.
You know what I'm saying? So,
one thing about this is, there's a lot, when this type of things happen, there's a lot of talk about no-knock warrants and when the police go to execute these warrants and defund the police, and the police are bad. Keep something in mind. Your local freaking judges are the ones that signed these warrants in the first place, people. So you need to be paying attention to who you vote for as your judges and stuff that are signing these warrants. It's not just the law enforcement that may or may not be the problem here. No,
Yeah,
just
I
want
mean,
to throw that out there.
also goes back to what you're saying when they request those red flag orders.
I have known judges personally here in my area that would sign any warrant, any whatever piece of paper that a law enforcement officer put in front of them. They wouldn't question it one bit. They would sign it. They would put their name on it, gold stamp it, whatever it was. And then I've seen judges that scrutinize things and tell them, no, you're going to have more evidence for this. You need to know this is, I can only sign this warrant if it's for specific things. They really scrutinize it. We need good judges too that can kind of hold these law enforcement people that get a little overzealous, right? Wouldn't want to go all gung-ho and Rambo on the local drug dealers or whatever.
Yeah.
Not that those people aren't the dredges of society and they need to be dealt with and taken off the street. Totally agree with that from a law enforcement perspective. I got it. But you got to do it the right way, and you've got to have judges that keep that in check through those, the signing of those warrants.
You're absolutely correct. I agree with you.
Another thing, to people that are like, oh, she was out of the bedroom and she was in the hallway. Well, does that still mean she was a threat? Just because I walk into my hallway, if I'm not armed or anything, should I be shot by police?
Well, they were returning fire from the shot he fired.
I thought she was shot multiple times, though.
Well, yeah, there was multiple policemen there, wasn't there? They all opened up.
But my point is, what if that was a child then?
The child would have been killed,
they should have been focusing on the threat. So fine, somebody comes down the hall, do you just shoot them?
Well, no, they only shot back because he shot them first.
But again, if she was not armed, what threat did she pose? Fine, here come.
Well, did they know that?
Well, there's a difference also between a threat and a perceived threat.
Yeah.
But just again, just
the moment, what would you have done? Go, hey, lady,
it doesn't validate it. If in the heat of the moment,
take it out of
and
the house.
The adrenaline going, the heat of the moment, everything's going on, right? And there's a perceived threat there. That doesn't make it okay. That doesn't vindicate anything, but it's a different situation. It's a totally different conversation at that point.
Like I said, take it out of the house, put you, me, anybody else in a self-defense situation, and let's say you're getting out of your vehicle, the person behind you was road raging or something, and they get out of their vehicle, start firing at you, you return fire, the person in the passenger seat jumps out. Do you get to shoot them because they're a perceived threat to you? You don't get to shoot them. You don't, unless they had a weapon or something on them. You don't get to shoot them.
Well, if they jumped out of the car to help defend their friend who I just shot.
But you don't know why they're jumping out of the car.
Well, but it doesn't. I don't have to know why they're jumping out the car.
So you do. I have to wait.
If they have no weapon in their
if they're coming toward me, that's an act of. If they're coming toward me, that's an act of aggression, especially after the person that they were with. What would they be the word for that? They're an accomplice to the person that they're with, right?
Yeah.
And that person they're with is firing at me. They jump out of the vehicle and come toward me in a threatening manner. Then my only logical assumption could be my life is now in being threatened by two people. Now, like I said, that doesn't relieve me when everything comes out and it's like, well, you know what? You thought that person was attacking you and you shot and killed them and they weren't. Like I said, that doesn't vindicate me, but it's a totally different conversation.
But people are saying, because she come running down the hallway, does anybody know how she come running down the hallway? Is it possible that this was a woman scared for her life and was just trying to get out? Yeah.
It's possible. but as you said, in the heat of the moment, you do what. I mean, here's a good example. I think
It's still a murder at that
myself,
point.
if I think somebody
Heat
was
of the moment
attacking me,
doesn't
if somebody was
get you
attacking
off
me,
of manslaughter or anything else.
but where I'm going with this, if say in a situation, as you said, getting out of my truck or something, and somebody, is close enough to me, pulls a gun and starts shooting because they're mad at me or something. I personally don't feel I'll shoot 1 or 2 bullets to stop the threat. I think with my adrenaline dump, I'll just empty the whole magazine into them without even realizing it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think my finger would stop pulling the trigger until my gun was empty. Does that make me overzealous? Does that make me a murderer?
If the person was
I was so
threat,
scared. So, I mean, where I was going with this, I was thinking about that policeman who put 7 bullets in the guy's back. Totally different story. But could the adrenaline be flowing so bad he just kept pulling the trigger till his gun was empty?
Well, I thought that was multiple officers also that shot him.
I think it was just one officer that shot him in the back.
Was it really?
Yeah. So I don't know.
There's still all kinds of stuff coming out on this, so who knows?
Yeah.
By the time,
Yeah, but somebody is behind all these riots. I mean, you saw the U-Haul van with all the signs in it.
Right, that's a common thing. Yeah,
somebody's behind it, and a lot of these people getting arrested are from out of state.
Mm-hmm.
There's behind it.
For the longest now, there have been professional agitators out there for the longest now. It's not anything new.
Yeah,
not all of them are, and there's been a lot of exposés done on this. And I'm not even talking about 2020 events, right? But even several years back or whatever, there's been exposés done on this where people have went undercover, and they're you look at a riot, you look at one of these things that's going on, and there's there may be 100, 200, 300, 500 people there, and about maybe 10% of those are professional agitators, and they know they go to a place, like you say, they're equipped, they have their vans with their signs, and they hand signs out and they do other things, but they know what to do and how to whip people into a frenzy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, then it turns into a mob.
The rest of the people, the vast majority of people are there probably most likely for a legit reason to start with. And then the professional agitators do their job and whip everybody into a frenzy, and here we go. Yeah. It's kind of like walking out into a herd of cattle and they're just grazing and they're not doing anything, and picking your rifle up there, or you know what I mean, and firing off 2 or 3 rounds in the big middle of them, and you got a stampede, right? And it's going to do all kind of damage. And it ain't really, is it really the cow's fault? Or is it the agitate? Is it you agitating them by, firing off the shots in there and causing the stampede? So it's just a snowball effect, I guess, is what I'm saying. You're absolutely right.
In England, they had the same thing in England in football games, soccer games. One team side, all of a sudden they start charging the other side. No, next thing you know, there's a big fight in the stands, and you see it on national TV in England, and it was because agitators got the crowd going.
Yep. Well, there's a thing called mob mentality.
Yeah,
and there's been a lot of studies done on it. You could be the most upstanding person in the world, but when people get into situations like that mob mentality takes over for most people, and they just don't think.
Yeah. I mean, and back to the original thing is, I mean, everybody has a right to protest, and there's nothing wrong with protesting. But it's when these agitators come along and change it all. So it gives the protester a bad name too, unfortunately.
I don't think so. Let's say if it's given protesters a bad name, then that is a person that is unable to differentiate the difference of a protest and a riot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you've seen these riots on TV, and you've seen and when the TV screens them, you see hundreds of people running up and down the street throwing shit at the police, right?
Yep.
They're not the protesters.
Exactly. That's my point. They're not protesters. So I wouldn't sit there and say that all these people protesting. No, the people that are protesting, they're fine. The people that are rioting and acting like idiots, that's the issue.
But do you
Yeah, I
agree?
don't conflate the two.
But do you agree, barbecue, that dynamic can morph and change and shift in a moment's notice because of professional agitators and other things?
And
That you've got people,
It
you
very
got
well
people
could,
that
but I was
legitimately go to protest, and then they get caught up in the frenzy created by agitators. Not even professional agitators, maybe they're amateur agitators, but nonetheless, they get caught up in that. And then the next thing you know, you got people that were peaceful protesters, but now they've kind of gone over and joined the hoodlums, more or less.
No, I absolutely, excuse me. I absolutely agree that could happen. But if those protesters then allow themselves to get caught up in that
That's their
and
fault. Yeah.
partaking in the riot,
But that's
well, at one point they were a protester. Well, now they become a rioter,
Right.
and
it goes back to what you were saying about mob mentality.
yep,
Mob mentality takes over, and then that, and so back to what I said, it gives the protester a bad name.
Well,
No,
I think it gives protests a black eye in a way, because there's a little cloud of doubt that is somebody going to get inside there and agitate and turn this into something else.
Yeah.
So it's not really a reflection on the people themselves, or what's actually happening, but what could happen.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. He worded it as I was trying to say it. Okay, that works. All right. Anything else, guys?
Night Show's been awful quiet.
It's top of the hour. You got some stuff you got to take care of, don't you?
I got to do my quiz for last week. And I only had 3 entries, which surprised me because I thought it was a real easy question. And the question was, hang on, I lost it. Here it is. I wanted to know about Tom Horn when he joined the United States Army during the Spanish-American War. What did he do? He was a chief packer of the 5th Corps. You know, he left Tampa for Cuba.
A chief packer?
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know what rank. He took care of the donkeys.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. He led some of the pack trains to the front.
So he was basically the motor pool of the day.
Yes, that's what he did.
All right.
More or less.
So that I had 3 entries. So where's my random picker? Here it is. Let me go. Let me hit the draw button. Rich White is the winner.
Rigged.
Yeah. Well,
Rigged.
all the people that enter win all the time anyway. Because they're the ones that always enter.
You know what? He ain't even out there today. I say he forfeits. Move on to the next person.
Rich White's not out there.
I haven't seen him.
Oh, okay.
He may be listening. You never know. He can be playing ninja on us.
Okay. Now for the swag pack for this week. Now this one could be a bit tougher. I want to know about the Ferguson rifle. How it came about, what was it developed from? Why wasn't it ever, become standard for the military, British military back in, what was it, the 1700s? So there you go. I want to know about I want to know.
I've got a.
Okay, let's easier. I want to know how the Ferguson rifle worked. What was the basic thing behind it? What made it work? How it worked?
I've got a real off-color joke about the Ferguson rifle. So is the Ferguson rifle the one that if you throw your hands up, it won't shoot?
No, see, Ferguson rifle is British. It's not French.
So I want to know how it basically worked. And why wasn't it adopted? by the British military. You know, so. And I'll give you, and this was going to be a question, but I'm not going to ask it now. Who was it actually named after? You know, so.
Now I'm just saying, if anybody wants the answer so they can win this, they can email me. I'll give them the answer for $5. I'm just saying.
Okay, I will too.
So basically, I want to know what the Ferguson rifle was and why wasn't it adapted. Basically, give me a little history of it is what I want. But the main question is how it actually worked, because
Like
back in the day of the Revolutionary War, most things were muskets, weren't they?
So you want to know what kind of action it is, or whatever.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for. So there you go. Email me at rickslife@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com for the swag pack for this week. Well, let me write down Richard's white name here if I can get his envelope done. All right. There you go. So, that's another thing I was going to talk about real quick, because it made me think because I don't know, but when I write stuff, if I gone back to what I was taught with, I got a fountain pen. I use an old-fashioned fountain pen. And a lot of times I write in cursive writing.
Mm-hmm.
Do kids learn that today?
Nope.
No more cursive.
Yeah, a lot of schools are doing away with it.
Why? I guess mainly because a lot of people are using goddamn keyboards.
Yep. That's a lot of it.
Yeah.
But even still, you still do electronic signatures, so you think you would have the kids knowing how to sign their name.
Yeah, so exactly. So when they're signing their name, what are they doing? Printing it? I'm talking about writing in print.
Right.
One letter at a time.
Yes, they're probably doing it in print instead of going and writing in cursive.
Yeah. What's our country coming to?
So whenever I have to sign something electronically,
whoa. Our country. Aren't you half British?
Well, can we be really honest about this for a second?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to read some people's cursive?
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm going to be quite honest about this. When I look back on some of mine, I'm thinking, what in the hell did I write there?
Yeah, reading your own cursive sometimes hard enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is for efficiency of communication, and I think that's a problem with us. I think we've deviated over many decades to where it's just hard. It's been harder and harder for us to read cursive. So we've kind of gotten away from communicating that way. And then with social media, with everything online and the internet all being pretty much print,
Yeah.
It's just added to that, honestly. I don't think it's the end of the world because of it, but it definitely is a lost art, being able to write really nicely in cursive.
Now I can. That's the thing. If I go slow,
Me too. Yeah,
I can write beautifully in cursive. But it's when I speed it up is when it gets a bit wild on me.
I had in school, like in penmanship, I got better grades than girls typically write in cursive better than boys.
Yeah,
and I was like top of my freaking class in penmanship. I mean, I wrote beautiful up there, and I still can if I take my time to do it.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I don't have that kind of time, so I just print it real quick, pen scratch, go.
Yeah. But I said I went back to a fountain pen about 2 months ago. About 2 months ago.
That's an actual fountain pen.
Yeah, it's an actual fountain pen. Yeah. So I'm using ink cartridges right now, but it does have an adapter where I can get my bottle of ink and put it in there.
Draw it in there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I used to use. I was brought up on fountain pens in British school. That's what we used to use. So.
Right.
I just come back to it. I like it. But you got to be careful when you're writing. You got to be careful that your hand doesn't touch what you just wrote.
Right.
A lot of times they smear it.
Well, they're a lot smoother, and they're a lot. A fountain pen like that is a lot more ergonomic. I mean, you get a lot less hand cramp and stuff.
Yeah.
as opposed to like a ballpoint or something like that, where you have to put a lot of pressure. I use a lot of the gel pens. I guess they're the Pilot G2s. I really love those. I like can't remember what they are, the number 10s, I think, which you can't hardly find the number 10. They're a really bold ink gel pen, and they write really, really smooth. You don't have to press down. And I mean, you can sit there and write all day with those and not fatigue your hand. So it's nice.
Yeah. I bought it on a whim, to be honest with you. I don't know how it came up. I got it off of Amazon. It's not an expensive one, but I don't know how I got onto it on Amazon, but it was there and I started looking at them.
Right.
And I thought, hell yeah, I used to do that and I can write with one of them. And so I got it and I going back to writing in cursive using this. I even been writing my rent check with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I even write my shopping list with it, and I take it to Walmart, and I'm sitting there in my cart, and I'm crossing off what I bought and stuff with it in my hand. People are looking at me like I'm kind of crazy. But hell, why not? Why not do something you enjoy? So there we go. All right. Anything else, guys? Did you see that Kamala Harris reckons the ongoing protests are essential for change? I thought, Jesus Christ, and that's going to be our new president if they win the rigged election.
Yeah, considered all the number of people she put into jail for doing basically the exact same stuff. It's kind of ironic, but okay.
Yeah.
Well, remember, the Democrats are do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be a scary thought if they do win. Back to what our typical theme technically is, Second Amendment stuff.
Right.
That's going to be a scary thing. Oh, talking about Barrett, didn't I read somewhere that she believes if something about if a felon's released from prison, he can have his guns back?
Well,
I think I heard that.
She's been taken a little out of context on that. She means that people who have gone through the system and been rehabilitated and are no longer a threat for nonviolent crimes, they should be able to get their rights back. That's what she was talking about.
Well,
people have taken her out of context and are trying to smear her by saying, "Oh, it's felons." No, she said specifically nonviolent individuals who have been rehabilitated and had and stayed on the clean and clear for a certain amount of time, should be able to get their rights back. That's what she said, and it is specifically to a case that she made a determination on because it's a guy who did something wrong. He committed a white collar crime. No one really got hurt by the crime other than the government, and he didn't kill anybody or hurt anyone. It was paperwork crime, right. And he went to jail. He served his time. He got out. And he was free and clear, and he did not. He started a family. He didn't do anything wrong for at least 10 years, and he went and found out that he couldn't get his gun. He didn't have any gun rights because they were taken away when he went to prison, and he was suing to get those gun rights back. And she did not see any reason why he shouldn't be able to get them back because he went through the system and agreed to be rehabilitated through the system instead of committing another crime as soon as he got out.
And I agree with that. He should have got him back.
Well, I would take it a step further, and I would say that if it's a nonviolent offense, then yeah, you serve your time, and I think you serve your time. I think there is a certain period of time we can agree upon that you've held a job. I mean, maybe, come up with some small criteria. And I would go even further to say violent crime, because there is some young kids that could get involved with the wrong people or whatever, and with that, I think there needs to be a petitioning system in play. I don't think it needs to be as free and clear as the nonviolent crime path. But I still think there needs to be a path because, what happens if you're 20 years old, you get tied up with the wrong people, drunken bar fight or something like that. Somebody ends up getting, hurt or killed. You end up going up for assault or, manslaughter or any number of things. Right. And, I think you should be after you've served your time. You should be able to go through some type of a process, where even then you can get them back.
Yeah. I mean,
honestly, I'm probably in the minority on this, but I think if you've been released from jail, that's our government saying you've done your time, you're no longer a threat to society, you
Right.
paid your debt, and if you're able to walk free among everybody, you should have all your rights back.
I agree with that, but then reality, and especially with my wife working for the prison system, is there's a whole lot of revolving people. So I think there has to be
those are repeat offenders. They refuse to be rehabilitated by the system, and they're stuck in their ways.
And usually if they're going to reoffend, it's going to happen within a certain time frame. That's why I say I think there needs to be. I agree with barbecue on the premise, absolutely.
Well,
but I believe to curb the big issue that we have in this country of repeat offenders, that there has to be some kind of type of a delay based off the average of repeat offenses or something.
But that's where another thing comes in is we got to stop. Cause I'm a former corrections officer. Did that before I drove truck. We got to stop with the way our system's set up to just take these people in, turn them out, and then take them right back in. There needs to be programs to show these people, hey, this is how you get on your feet. This is going to incorporate you back into society. Unfortunately, a lot of those programs don't exist. I believe back in the 1900s, or obviously really early in our country's history, there was actually programs where inmates could go and get a college degree.
Oh yeah, there still are in some.
I'm not saying that hey, we should give them a college degree or anything, but they just look at these guys now. All right, you're in on drugs charges. You're going to this jail. You're a gang member. You're going to this jail, but we can't send you to this one because there's rival members there. And then it really ends up strengthening what they're doing on the outside. I remember one inmate I was talking to. He was in for his third time, and I was talking to him. Said, you go to court tomorrow. What do you think's going to happen? And he said, they're probably going to tell me I'm going to state. He's like, but I'm going to ask the judge to, consider sending me to a rehab program. He was in for drug charges.
Wow.
And it wasn't, selling or anything like that, just usage.
Right.
And
those are such a waste of the legal system. But
right. And he comes back and he's like, nope, gave me 3 years in state.
What a waste. What a waste of taxpayer dollars.
And
we've moved away from, the prison system in this country. You're absolutely right. We moved away from prison systems are a housing facility at this point. They're not a rehabilitation facility.
Yep.
And they once were.
No, they're not.
They once were.
They once were, yes.
And for him, the issue was he told me flat out, he's like, when I get out of jail, he's like, I got to go back to my family. He's like, that's the only thing I have when I get released. And he's like, they all do drugs. He's like, I need tools on how I can try and defeat this, because no matter what, I'm going to be exposed to it. He's like, and they won't, give me the tools. They just lock me up.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yep. Well, the prison system needs to do, I tell you, because when I was living in Rhode Island and Connecticut, and everybody knows I'm in the 12-step program, I used to go into prisons and hold meetings in there. So a lot of them came to the meeting just to get out of the cell.
Yep.
Right. But there was a few that were actually interested. So
Right.
it made it worthwhile to do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you could save one person, type thing, it was worth it, in my opinion. I like going, but there was some, as you said, some people just to get out of the cell. I remember one time I was there, and it wasn't a maximum. No, this one was maximum security. It was hell getting in there, but we got in there. We got to the meeting. There was maybe 20 guys in there. You know, it would be nice if the guards weren't in there, but because of maximum security, the guards had to be inside the room with us, right?
Sure.
And I was there as a speaker, and the guy running the meeting got up and said, "Got a speaker here for you," you know, what you call it. And I stood up and go, typical 12-step thing. Hi, my name's Rick, and I'm an alcoholic, right? As soon as I said that, from the back of the room, some guy yells out, "Who gives a fuck?" I thought, oh my God, it's going to be one of those type of meetings. A lot of them weren't even listening to me. But, there was a few there that were. So, I mean, that's back to what you were saying. If that prison has that kind of thing going on, that could help somebody. Instead of going back, as you said, going back to family because they're all drug users, maybe get, into a program in prison. I don't know if they do them anymore. I don't know if they allow that anymore.
Well, we had that where people would come in, talk to the guys. We'd have pastors come in on Sunday and do church for them. We'd have drug and alcohol speakers come in, and like at the prison I worked at, it's a maximum security facility. We didn't have to be in there or anything. We'd just say, "Hey, anybody wants to go to drug and alcohol? Be in the day room in 5 minutes," and then they go in there, have their meeting. Guys would get up and go as they please. You could tell the guys that really wanted to have a change, but I don't know. Obviously, 12-step programs work for some people, but I think for some people they really do need that full rehab facility.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, each to their own, really. It worked for me, so, but if somebody can do it a different way, go for it, is what I say. There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Right.
So. But anyway, I'll just tell you my experience. But there was one or two there that were actually there and actually listened, and after it was over, come up before they went back, had to leave the room, go back to the cell. They came up and shook my hand and said, "Thank you." Got a lot out of what you said. Because it goes back, and I honestly believe this. Somebody if you have a drug and alcohol counselor standing up there talking, but has never had a problem, I ain't gonna listen to you.
Nope.
But if you were a drunk, I would listen to you. That's how I got into it. Somebody who was an alcoholic talked to me, and it worked. Because I was listening to him because I understood where he was coming from. Because he was doing he'd done what I did.
Right. Yep.
So there you go. Anyway, let's wind this up. So let's go. Night Strike, you got any plugs or shout outs or anything?
Just check out guntube.org, and thanks for showing up.
Appreciate it. Guns and Barbecue.
Go check me out on YouTube. I also like to say congrats to CloverTech hitting 1 million views.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, CloverTech. Now, any shout outs or plugs?
Yeah, the 3-year anniversary of the lawn chair pop is today. And so here in about a half hour, there will be a YouTube premiere to kind of commemorate that. So if anybody's out there wants to come over and chat during that premiere, then come on over, or you can check it out and replay anytime, I guess. But good conversation today, Rick. Thanks.
Yeah, and congratulations on your 1 million views.
Thank you, sir.
And not all you need is 100,000 subscribers to get your little plaque.
Nah.
I've
already got a wooden play button. I'm good.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's all you need.
Yeah.
All right. I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat for stopping by on this Saturday afternoon. I know we're all busy people, and I really do appreciate it. So I want to say thank you again, and I'll be back on Wednesday at 7 p.m. for Shooting with Disabilities. So I want to say thank you all for being here, and I will see you then. So good night, good afternoon, everybody. Goodbye,
Good night,
Sabrina.
Shall not be infringed.
There we go. It's over.